All right, folks. Sorry I'm late by a few seconds. He says hi. You sit on the binky, Mr. Mao. You be a good kid. So interesting news week, hasn't it been? I wake up, everything's gone straight to hell. Good God. Welcome, as always, to Open Chat, folks. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. All right, now, as usual, as we wait for people to trickle in, you get to deal with my constant complaining about call center work. Sorry, it is what it is, right? Okay. So we are in that special time period of work that comes in between. It's after the big February sales. It's right before goddamn Way Day. Yes, I'm just dreading as I know each day we're coming closer. Please kill me. But now it is a lull because you're getting a lot of calls. But it is from individuals who are not looking to buy anything. Many of them are looking to return from things that they got from family for Christmas. When you have to explain multiple times in back to back calls what out of stock means, especially when you explain what it means and then they follow it up with, but does that mean I can't buy it right now? I need to win the lottery. That's all I'm saying. I really need to win the lottery. And since it looks like we're not going to have too much audience come in, at least at this juncture, anyways, we'll talk about the P. Diddy crap, all right? Okay. You may not like my take on this, but if I am anything, I'm consistent. Okay? Even with individuals whose work I'm not necessarily familiar with, I don't care. It's already been sensationalized all over the news. Okay? People are already picking sides like it's a goddamn spectator sport instead of real life involving real human beings. I'm not saying anything on any one side until I can eyeball the evidence. It's really that simple. I think this world might be a lot better of a place if a lot of people also decided they were not going to speculate about so called events that we, the general public, are not privy to till we have the information in front of our eyeballs. Okay? Because what we have now is the same thing as the pitchforks and torches back in the day, except the difference is instead of torches and pitchforks, now we have camera lenses and phones that, record everything. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say on the matter until any evidence actually becomes apparent. Because now I know this is going to dominate the media for the next several days. Now, to talk about stuff that actually affects people that we do actually know happened. Has anybody seen what happened out in Baltimore about 1:30 a.m. this morning? It would have been about around midnight out here. We're an hour behind the East Coast. One of the main bridges that connects Baltimore to the rest of the East Coast had one of its legs where it is get rammed by a cargo ship and collapsed. Like, I don't know, a bridge of popsicle sticks. Anybody see that? Anybody see that? Because I woke up this morning with that as soon as I turned on the news and, you know, had my daily dosage of caffeine. And this is more caffeine. It's been that kind of day today. As far as I know from what I've seen watching the news, because remember, folks, I have family on the East Coast. A lot of them tend to go around the Baltimore area fairly regularly. So it was a whole lot of panic checking everyone's Facebooks to make sure everybody was okay. So I don't know if you all have seen that, but apparently the investigation into what happened as to why that cargo ship was able to cause that bridge to tumble the way that it shows that it very obviously did. That's going to be, yeah, it's going to be interesting if we learn more new facts about all of that. That is actually something I do care about because it affects people that are actually directly related to me. Yeah, sorry. That came out bad. You get what I'm saying though, right? A bridge that has actually become iconic to the area, to Baltimore. I knew about that bridge, and I'm not even from there. But because my dad's folks and his brothers and sisters and my cousins all come from that area, yeah, I'm still, if you can tell, kind of processing all of that, right? Still kind of processing all of that. All right, so now that we've covered what's been in the news this week and how much it sucks to be a call center agent, especially since I noticed nobody is joining me this afternoon, you're going to have to deal with me rambling. I'm sorry, but it's just me here. It's what you get. All right. So we've had that in the news. And of course, because PD has literally, P. Diddy, PD, good God. Because he's known to hang out with anyone and everyone, because somehow the world can't seem to help it. Again, the Royals get thrown into a situation that they know fuck all about. What I mean, the court documents, right? What's my opinion? My opinion is I don't have one. My opinion is we need to stop throwing them in every single situation and use it as a way to treat a family feud like a spectator sport, with each person supporting their team, encouraging more outlandish insanity. I actually ran a rant on this during the last video I did before I came on here, which is why I'm a little bit late. But these are real people with real lives and children. The fact that we live in a society where nobody thinks twice about insinuating themselves in a situation regards to individuals they will never probably meet, and pick sides in an argument that has absolutely nothing to do with them, as though they were talking about their favorite football team, and they do these side things. It's You are turning real individuals' lives into your own entertainment. We're not talking about the things that they do as part of their duties, whether it's film or royal, whatever. No, you are turning their lives, their kids' lives, their parents, their grandparents' lives into a spectator sport. And it's gross as hell. You should not be treating something like this like it's a KC versus Green Bay rivalry game. Okay? And if you are doing this and you're picking sides and you're treating it like a spectator sport, you might need to start doing some inner searching. These are full fledged human beings with families, parents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. Their lives should not be fodder for the masses in which they won't wish to turn it into a spectator sport. And what's going to happen next? Are we going to start choosing colors now? Sorry, folks. This is what you get when I'm in here by myself and I don't really have any commenters. Okay. So, to the JRC, right? Because apparently I'm just doing updates and I will probably close this in about when it hits the 30-minute mark if nobody joins us. There's been no updates as of yet in regards to the lawsuit filed by the JRC against the Food and Drug Administration. We do have the complaints right here. I have it saved as one of my tabs. I have not had a chance to go through it all yet. Even me and my multitasking self still hasn't been enough time, just saying. There's been no updates. There's been no trial dates announced. I haven't seen anything come up with Discovery or anything of that nature. I'm still keeping an eye on it daily. Don't think for a second that I'm not, because I am. There's just, as of right now, no new updates that I've been seeing. As far as if, in spite of the lawsuit hanging over the FDA's head, I've not really seen a response from them in regards to the lawsuit, nor have I seen a response as to if they're going to move forward to correct that final 2020 ban so that we can name the device in question and actually pass the ban in a capacity where the JRC no longer has a leg to stand on. Nothing yet. I am watching religiously, folks, to see whether there's going to be any updates on any of that or not. Also, been watching the other cases now. I want to touch something briefly that I just saw right before I flipped over here. And yeah, sorry. So the whole JDAH thing should have been done with the verdict 2 years ago, right? Well, now the AH supporters who have continued to drag this on for no adequately explained logical reason have now started essentially recircling around the same bullshit that it has already been debunked for years. The newest one that they're recirculating once more is trying to insinuate that Adam Waldman has links to Vladimir Putin. So does Joe Biden. So does Donald Trump. So do multiple politicians, celebrities, you name it. These are world leaders, folks. Jesus Christ. Like, do I have to explain to you one of the favorite 90 games that was called The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? If you're a Xennial, let me refresh your memory. That was a little game that got popular in the 90s, God knows how or why, where you had to come up with 6 people. Within 6 people to get you somehow in the vicinity of the person who knows a person who knows a person who knows Kevin Bacon, worked with Kevin Bacon. You see where we're going here, right? It's the same thing. It really is the same thing. Okay? This world is massive and also smaller than you think it is. All right? The idea, but he has Russian ties. It ties him to Putin. Jesus Christ, people. You want to know how dumb that sounds? Let me bring it back for you. Brown Derby is a well known alcohol selling outlet here in the United States, especially. Brown Derby, amongst many of its other mini alcohols that they acquire from all over planet Earth, sell vodka imported from Russia. If we were go off AH supporter logic, the poor dude who runs that small little Brown Derby, that little piece of the franchise that he owns, selling vodka that was imported for Russia, by their logic, well, obviously he's in with Putin. Because that's what this logic sounds like. The only reason why anyone thinks it sounds plausible at all is that Adam Waldman is a badass at his job. That makes him a well-known name. Guess what? When you're well-known, you tend to circulate around other well-known people who've been around world leaders. It's both a massive world and a smaller world than you think it is. Okay? God. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, or should I call it the 6 degrees of Adam Waldman? Jesus Christ, people. The man is a badass at his job. When you're a badass at your job, as Adam Waldman very obviously is, you work with particular important individuals, whether it's in the entertainment industry, politicians, world leaders, business runners, CEOs, you name it, right? That means you're going to be coming across people. You may possibly come across Putin. You may have links to Russia because maybe you're representing somebody else's interests there. It's called being a good goddamn attorney. All right? Then you have AH supporters want to turn this into the 6 degrees again. I'm sorry, we do curse on this channel. I was raised by an Army veteran / truck driver. This is what you get. I'm sorry. All right, folks, we got about 10 more minutes of me babbling since it looks like we're not going to have our usual audience for today. I am going to leave it up, as embarrassing as this is probably going to end up being for me afterwards. I'm not used to it being so quiet in here. All right, let's close out, shall we? Here in a few minutes. point of the matter is, all this should have been done 2 years ago, but it didn't end. And if you want to know why, that's because there is a lot of big names and a lot of money that was backing AH and expected her to win. When she lost, and lost spectacularly at that, a lot of these individuals, far more powerful and wealthy than she will ever be, ended up with egg in their face. Now, if you've been around particularly wealthy people in your life, and I have because of who my uncle is, these are very proud, prideful individuals. They don't like getting egg on their face. Many of them become vindictive and they want to lash out. Particularly if they're trying to control a particular narrative, for example, and that particular win throwing a monkey wrench in the middle of your agenda. They're gonna try and fight back. They're going to try essentially to take back control over a narrative that they've already lost. Desperately continuing to do so even 2 years later because of that egg in the face, if you know what I mean, okay? That case also shook a lot of people's beliefs in regards to old mainstream media. They didn't like that very much. Now, they could have saved face, and even though they would still have a lack of trust, it would not have been near the levels that it has become had they admitted that they backed the wrong horse. They could have even continued on with their completely illogical agenda had they been willing to have a little bit of humble pie, admit what they did, apologized, and moved on, and none of us would have really thought anything about it. Here's the thing about those types of people, they are extremely vindictive. They are too proud to even admit a very obvious mistake. So much so that they would rather run their entire lives into the ground or the businesses that they're run than to admit that they did something wrong. So that is a lot of what we're seeing here. That is why a lot of the same crap that was being flown around during the trial, before the trial, during the UK, and even before the UK is finding itself quietly back in the media as though it was done spontaneously. It's not. These are vindictive individuals who are trying to fight back in a war they've already lost. And we're going to keep seeing it. We're going to keep seeing we're Russian bots. We're Saudi Arabian bots. Can anybody tell me when we're going to say that they're autistic bots? Because that might be something I may actually qualify for. I mean, one of the few things to be like, it's not true, but sorry, if I can't make fun of myself every once in a while, what am I even doing here, right? We're going to keep seeing this crap, is what I'm saying, folks. Because these people are so vindictive about that loss. And the fact that they publicly got seen getting egg in the face, that instead of swallowing that humiliation and eating a little bit of humble pie, they are willing to burn everything to the ground in hopes that maybe a small piece of flame might catch on the guy that they're targeting. All right. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close out before I get myself into any more trouble. I know this has been very short. I'm sorry about that, but in streams where kind of nobody shows up and I've got no guests, I tend to run out of things to say, believe it or not. Considering these open chats are not really planned, they're really more about letting off some steam, talking about some current topics. And when there's no way to have that back and forth, tends to make these things a little bit shorter than they would ordinarily be. But there you are, folks. I do appreciate your time. For those of you who are going to be watching this back earlier, if I stuck my foot in my mouth, it wouldn't be the first time. And I apologize for anyone I offended. Unless you're offended by the truth, then I don't know. Deal with it. As always, folks, we here at Open Chat always hope that you have a good one. We'll see you in the next couple weeks. Everyone have a good day, all right? I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Peace.